And there you go. Have a good meeting.
Thank you. All right, thanks everyone. It is Wednesday, August 28th, 2024 is 6:30 p.m. This is the Scituate Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee meeting. We continue to meet via remote participation. On March 29th, 2023, Governor Healy signed into law a supplemental budget bill, which extended the temporary provisions pertaining to the open meeting law to March 31st, 2025. This further extension allows public bodies such as ours to continue holding meetings remotely without a quorum of the public body physically present at a meeting location and to provide adequate alternative access to remote meetings. This meeting will be recorded by Scituate Community Television and can be viewed live on Scituate Community Television Facebook Live. The recorded meeting will be available the following day on Comcast Channel 9 and YouTube Scituate Community Television. I will read our commitment statement. This is a safe, secure space for all people, especially people of color and for all underrepresented people and communities. This is a space where people can bring up challenges and questions without fear. We will assume best intentions and we will treat one another with politeness and respect at all times. This committee is dedicated to these standards. We want our members and others joining our meetings to feel welcomed and respected. Thank you. All right, so it is now 6:32 p.m. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, thank you. All right, calling the roll. Reverend Stewart.
Yes.
Ms. Dre.
Yes.
Ms. Gilberti.
Yes.
Ms. Galata.
Yes.
And Ms. Risha.
Yes.
All right, and I'm a yes. Okay, great. All right. So no Carrie. She sent me a note. She had a conflict. Did not hear from Kate, so maybe she'll still join. And Bob Clark is sick. So he sent me a note. So he's allowed to be sick. Hopefully he feels better. So he's not going to be on. And then Jamie sent me, I have a quick update from Jamie Gilmore, our select board liaison. He's not going to be on either, as he's not available. So we don't have updates from Jamie. We don't have updates from Bob from a town perspective. So I'm going to put Mr. Adams on the spot and let us know what is going on in your world as you steamroll towards the first day of school next Wednesday.
Absolutely. What's up? Good
so
to
I'm
see
sure
you.
you've already started, but I just know my daughter doesn't start until Wednesday.
So. We are in the mix, excited. In fact, the theme for this year is Inspire. And so that's what we're going for. And we'll connect to that in all kinds of ways. In fact, that this is our house event. The theme for this year is Inspire Greatness. So that's what we're going for there. Good to see people I hadn't seen in a long time in a number of different ways. Good to see y'all. Good to see y'all. And Seth, I call Seth the voice of Scituate. Good to see you, King. And Celia, we know you there. We got number love for you. Let's see. Today, we kind of kicked off some things today in the district. It was the opening for staff. And so faculty and all employee members of the SPS community came together and just officially began our journey for the 24-25 academic season. Some things that folks should know about that happened since last time we met were METCO hired a new program manager. Her name is Sherla Lestrand, and she's coming to us from Reading. So the Reading folks are upset with us, but she wanted to join the Scituate family. So that's a good thing. So hopefully, not hopefully, I know you want to get a chance to engage her and appreciate her energy and her wisdom. So she'll be working most directly with Marcavius, who, as folks should know, is the director and visionary for METCO now. We've changed the language for METCO in terms of saying that we don't have a METCO program, we are a METCO district. again, because we want to signal we all are part of this, and we subscribe to the acronym METCO, a movement everyone takes care of, METCO, movement everyone takes care of. So that's happening there. In connection with Scituate, although it wasn't well attended at all, there was a beach day that was scheduled to take place. And Tom, you put it on the calendar, you advertised to folks here. It was on the 17th of August. And there's 2 families that came out. So we got to unpack what happened, what was the deal with that. But the fact that it happened, that it was an attempt made there, is a signal of the new direction. Not a new direction, but enhanced direction, I say, that we're traveling in with that. So I'm very excited about what's happening, what's going to be happening, what's to come between our Boston and Scituate families. AMG is in the mix in a great way in terms of keeping in touch with our Scituate families and families that are part of the Anchors initiative, which is an opportunity for families who are interested in connecting with Boston families to stay in touch with each other. And there are over 99 families that are on that list, but then there's so many more who aren't on that list but express desire to assist. So that's happening there. Let's see. I think that kind of those are the newest breaking things right now. I told you about the opening, the theme, that we got a new new assistant superintendent started, Ryan Lynch, who is returning home, so to speak. He's a Scituate resident and have been for a while, but he worked in the district before. So he's come in and had
a principal.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a principal. I think he was the Gates principal at one time.
Mm-hmm.
If I remember correctly. Yeah.
Folks had good energy about him as a candidate, and he's shown up and been doing really well. I think he might be 24 days in or something like that, but he's doing well. We did a retreat. The retreat happened with the school committee. That was cool. I think that's it. Everything else, I think you should be up to speed. The tennis courts are getting constructed. So if you've been on campus at all, you will see a whole lot of dirt in that place where once was the tennis courts. They should be done in time for students to use in the spring. That's what I just heard today. So it's a lot going on there.
So those are at the old Gates, right?
Yeah.
Or are they at the high school?
No, they're right next to they're adjacent to the skateboard park.
Okay.
Directly across from central office and the high school side. In between, in fact, it's between the football field and the skateboard park.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Cool.
But they're doing it. They are very much underway. So there'll be few parking spaces for a little while. Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you. A quick administrative thing that I should have already mentioned, and we do have the AI turned on to the extent that you want to use it. I did not go through acceptance of minutes and fill out responsibilities for tonight. So I did send out minutes from my last 2 meetings because I was late with mine, which was June 25th, and then Natasha, she just like kicked butt and sent it out like right after our meeting on July 30th. So 2 sets of minutes. So let's just take them one at a time. June 25th, 2024, those minutes. Any feedback, any mistakes, anything that anyone wants to bring up from our June 25th minutes? Okay. Same question for July 30th, and I'll look to get them accepted.
Great job, Tom.
Thank you. You as well. Any comments from July 30th? All right. Then I will move to have the minutes accepted from both June 25th, 2024 and July 30th, 2024. Do I have a second?
I'll second it, Tom.
Okay, thanks, Christina. All right, Reverend Stewart.
Yes.
Ms. Dre.
Yes.
Ms. Gilberti.
Yes.
Ms. Galata,
Yes.
and Ms. Risha.
Yes.
All right, and I'm a yes. Okay, so the task for tonight, again, we're going alphabetical. It would be Kate, but she's not on. So we either force Kate to do them, or it's back to you, Angela. Oh,
I'll
no,
do it.
that's not true.
Nope.
Carrie,
Carrie's
Right.
not here. I can do it, Tom.
okay. We'll go back to Carrie and Kate next meeting, because but for this one, okay, thank you, Angela. All right. So let's go through what we've been up to. The last couple of meetings, we're still talking about, I'm going to bring up equitable communications again, because I felt like in the last two meetings, we finally got to where we needed. But, and I really wanted to ask Bob about it tonight, and I'll bring up an example that everyone can see that just came out today. Why can't I share my screen? There it is. Okay. So hopefully everyone can see that email. Is everybody signed up to receive these? Did everybody get this email today?
Yeah, I did.
So, I mean, this is a great example, I think, of like, what we've discussed is having, Bob was going to work with Michelle. And I'm not calling out Bob, but he's the last person I would call out. But, an email like this at the bottom, having, and I think we agreed on, 3 different lines, right? Spanish, Portuguese, and French, I think is what we discussed. And directing them to go to the website because it would be as easy as this. Okay, so then you go to read more. What? Got it. You guys see the website now? Or are you still looking at the email?
We're looking at the email, Mr. Secor. We don't see the website.
All right, you click on the read more, it brings you to the website.
Now we see the website, yes.
Okay, thank you. And then, we've been through this, right? Go down here. And there it is. So I'll send Bob a note. I'm not gonna bug him tonight. I'll send him a note tomorrow. With this example, because hopefully we're really close to finally putting this one to bed. There've been I notice them every time now because of these discussions that we have. We've had water main breaks. We've had for those of you that get the ones about the water, I live right off of Jericho Road. We didn't have water on Monday. I knew that was going to happen. These are all things that the town and people need to know about, regardless of what language they happen to speak in their household. But the town does I think the town does an incredible job communicating these types of things. We just need to, get this squared away. And I do know, and I reflected it in the minutes from our June meeting. Because we talked a lot about the email stuff, but then also the snail mail, whether it's the sticker to the outside of the envelope, or something that goes into mailings, just a page with the same type of deal, especially if a letter that goes to your house that's from the Department of Water or something like that, or DEP or what have you, directing them to the website. I think most of the things that we send out is also captured somewhere in a digital format on a website. So, does anybody have any other commentary on that topic? Okay. All right, and then the next thing I wanted to bring up is I'm not gonna share it, but I'm just gonna, so Jamie Gilmore sent me a note. As I mentioned that he couldn't attend. He wants to chat tomorrow, so, and I'll be able to talk to him tomorrow, respond to him tonight when the meeting's over. He did talk to the select board about, how to handle the issuance of public statements when there's a hate event or something along those lines. All right, so, and we talked about this probably a couple of different times. We probably talked about it in May, Jamil, and we certainly talked about it in June after what happened on Old Open Bucket. And he said not to keep you in suspense, but they, meaning the select board, they agree with the premise. All right, so they're good to go. They're asking that our group initiates a writing if and when these things happen. Okay, to start the process, which I'm cool with, and we'll kick something like that around. Again, hopefully we never have to do it. But in the event that something unfortunate does occur, it looks like we have a pathway to get involved and put something out there. So I'll get more details from Jamie. Go ahead, Natasha.
After you get more details from Jamie, maybe we should just put together a little working group so that we're not all having to, like, we can present something to the bigger group about what that wording should look like.
Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, that's fine.
I think sometimes just doing it in this format is clunky, right? And time consuming. Clunky, I think is a fair word.
Yeah. No, it's just hard. It's
Like a big group projects in school.
Yeah, like 2 or 3 people can do it and bang it out really
Yeah.
quick, and everyone else can look at it and weigh in, but getting started sometimes is the hard part.
And so, Tom, just so and my internet is really bad, so apologies if you already said this, but just basically like when these, and hopefully to your point, like these never happen, right? But if and when the select board has asked us to kind of recommend a statement for them then to like review, edit as they see fit to then send out to the town, is that what they're asking, or did I miss here?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure exactly. Like not concerned, but I was always like just the mechanics of this, right? So let's say, I hate to use an example. So let's talk about, when somebody threw the brick through the window of the Chinese restaurant, right? As an example. So something like that happens. We would then have the ability, all right, because before I just wasn't sure if we had the authority to do anything like that based on our charge and so forth. They seem to agree that we do. Again, I haven't talked to Jamie yet. I'll report back, but we can then, put together, and maybe we have a blanket one that we can work on as a working group, but we can put out a statement. I think this is how it's going to work. As the Scituate DEI committee, and I would assume that we would need to we could get Jamie involved. Jamie would then put it in front of the select board. They would bless it. And then how it would be disseminated from there, I'm not sure. Would it be an email to town residents? Would it go on their Facebook page? Those are questions that I can't answer.
Okay.
So-
I mean, I guess my interpretation. Sorry, I think I just cut someone off.
I think Jamil had his hand raised, but
Finish.
I guess it would feel to me, and I guess I'm just curious, we're having this conversation probably prematurely, right? Because maybe Jamie has his own, like, has it very clear and he'll share it with you tomorrow and then it'll be much, we'll figure it out. But it feels like it would be great if these statements go out like in partnership with the select board, right? Because I think it's important that the message is sent from them, supported by them, like they are the governing body of our town. What, we are a volunteer committee. I'm personally, right, my own opinion, like, love us being in partnership with them, because I think it's important, again, for residents to know that we exist, we support residents in this way, and like, we are here to help. But I think it would be a little bit odd for us to send out a message independently, or it almost like we should recommend and partner, and then they send it out to the town just like they do any other message that they would send to the town. But again, I guess more to come from Jamie tomorrow. Just my 3 cents on the matter.
No, I get it. I get it.
And so I would just say I agree with you 1,000%. It's good to hear that there is concertion from the town folk for this to happen, and for the body meaning the SDIC to be able to take this role. I was trying to think back of the Museum Beach piece, and I thought that the SDIC put something together. I thought that folks put something together and put it out then. And so that made me think we were already in that space. The other thing is, typically I've seen these work best when there's probably 2 or 3 people, or sometimes even one person that's identified as someone says, you know what, I'm good with writing, I'll put something together, and then we go for it, and then I send it to the team to look at before we go. Depending on the urgency of what's happening, it's one of those things. This is why we're a team, well, why you're a council rather. Whoever can be available is available. Whoever's not, there's no smoke against them. People living and doing things, like you said, it's a volunteer piece, but it's a group for a reason. If everybody can't be there, it doesn't mean they don't care. It just means they wasn't available at that time. But the people who are there can put something together. So if they're like 2 or 3 people, my suggestion is like, if there are 2 or 3 people here on the screen right now, that's like, look, I'm with it. I can put something together. If something happens, let's roll with those folks and see what's up. The people who are here, if they want to join, they can do that. But you can identify 1 or 2 people that are put together. Now, that doesn't mean no one else can write. Absolutely, other people can put something in, but it's good to have some folks who have volunteered taking on this added responsibility. Say, you know what, something happens, I'll take it on and get something together in like 24 hours or something like that, kind of deal. And then you can let the town folk know we have a sort of a process in place. And then I 1,000% agree that if whatever gets written and edited and all that kind of stuff, it should be in concert with the town. I've never been a fan of something going out and you put the work into it and your name not being attached to it. But I'm only 4 years into the town, and so I respect your opinion on it. Maybe it's a baby steps version, and we got to do that in the beginning. But if possible, I believe that the SDIC name as a collective should be connected with the town. I don't know if it's just going to say Town of Scituate and SDIC, or if it would say, I don't know, Jim, Woodrow, and maybe Tom, or I don't know. You have to figure out how that gets worded.
Maybe the Scituate Select Board and the Scituate DEI Committee, and then
that can work.
If Jim Woodrow wants to be on there, that's fine too.
And then you can just put email addresses for both, and that should be fine.
Yeah.
Yep. Are they going to do something with the Open Bucket Road piece? If not, you can say anything specific, because I know the way it turned out with the family just wasn't able to just get anything going there. But just take advantage of the opportunity to say that, we're here, our community is not about hate, and we're gonna continue to look out for each other, kind of thing. So
yeah, in terms of that incident, which is now like 2 months old, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. And we can talk about that, right? I mean, is this more of a forward-looking thing, or to respond to future incidents, or do we put something out in the next?
I think
I don't know.
You made a good point. Maybe it's something that goes out saying future incidents, anything like that. Something, because I can't I can't say I feel away for the family, but I do feel away for the family. But I still don't even know if the caregivers and the parents know what happened, and that
Right.
because again, you know, the child just wasn't in that space, and after reaching out a couple of times, kind of didn't want to respond. So, but to take advantage of the opportunity to say, you know what, if anything happens in our community, we're going to be responding. We just want everybody to know. It can be a good thing.
I mean, however we hear about it, right? So like now at least we know that we have, you know, the authority
Yeah.
to do something, whereas Field Oak and Bucket, I think you sent me a text, Jamil, like within 24 hours, a bunch of people knew about it. That happens in the future. We get our working group together, and then that Natasha recommended, and Jamil, you hit the same points with that. And
Yeah.
we get, you know, the 3 of us or 4 of us together, and we just get after it. And we put something out, we send it to Jamie, or we send it to the entire select board, or what have you. And then, but like those mechanics, I'll talk to Jamie about tomorrow.
Are there people that want to volunteer to be the writers? You got 3 right there. Cool. Everybody else, I mean, you can, but from the onset.
You didn't raise your hand fast enough, so no.
No, I think once, also like, I don't want to do this a lot, but I think the more we do it, kind of the more formulaic it will kind of become in a way. And repeating our stance as a town dedicated to DEI and that kind of stuff. So like, I think it'll get a bit easier. And I think the other thing that hopefully will allow us, to your point, Jamil, to react more quickly is like, before we didn't really know if we had a place to do this or not. And so now we know, right? So we can move forward much more quickly and not be like 2 months out, like, do we still respond to this incident or not? We don't know. Like,
Yeah.
we'll have a way forward. But I do feel, to Elena's point, that we are an advisory board to the board. So I think that they absolutely need to have their name on it as well. We're advising them, this is the message you should send. We can have our name on it too, but hopefully that's what Jamie will say.
It gives it a lot more juice.
Yeah.
You know,
And we're their advisory board. So we're here to advise them that this is the
I feel
best.
like I'd be surprised if they felt differently, given all of, right, like everything else. It's been very much has to be through them. So I feel like that's probably what he means.
And I want to encourage you again, allow your instincts and your guts to guide sometimes. Because again, I believe when y'all put something out, when that museum beach piece happened, it was so powerful. It was helpful. And folks didn't know if we had the power or not, but y'all put that out was really, really warming for myself and for my family. And they all also individually reached out as well, but it was just powerful. And that reminds me when Reverend Stewart said DEI, other thing that happened in Scituate was my title has shifted. And so now I'm the director for Love, Inclusion, and Trust, which I think is a great thing. And we're moving ahead of the trend and starting it. So I think that's a great thing, actually.
Is that something you proposed?
Yes.
Okay. I'll be honest, I'm glad you proposed it. And I'm saying that because, you know, I read things like in my industry and so forth, and like DEI committees are being disbanded.
Mm-hmm.
And like Lowe's, I guess I have to go to Home Depot now. Lowe's just got rid of all their DEI programs.
Yeah, they did.
My husband's a big Lowe's guy, so no more.
I'm a big Lowe's guy. That's where I go. But like, actually, I actually like I like Hingham Lumber to be perfect.
Tractor Supply too did the same thing, cut it all back.
Yeah.
We don't do that.
All right. That's a big update, you know. I didn't know that your title changed. That's really cool.
I think it's no matter what language what language meaning vocabulary you use, whether it be DEI, belonging, social emotional development, or otherwise, they're all trying to get to those places of love, inclusion, and trust. I think they're timeless. I think they're digestible.
Yep.
For anyone, and I believe that it's something that the rest of education should latch on to. and then shift and control the narrative, control the conversation as best possible.
Jimmy, I just want to add to, you had given us that suggestion many times. When we were working out our commitment statement and other, discussions that we've had. So I just want to thank you for that, because I think you've said it many times. People get hung up on titles or current word choices or acronyms that are, popular at the moment, and lose focus of what the true meaning behind what the, efforts are. So thank you for doing it.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what it's called, just do the right thing. And I also agree to everyone's point about any statement that we make should be coming from the select board. That's their role as the, government body, if you will, or the, of the town. And I think it will have more weight. And obviously, I don't think it's necessary to have our title on it, because we are an advisory and, the board has more, but if they want to have it in connection with the DI committee, I think that's fine. But more importantly, that it does need to come from the select board, in my opinion.
Yep. All right. Yeah, so more to come. Like I said, I will talk to him tomorrow, and I'll see what he has to say. But I'm, kudos to Jamie for bringing that up. I'm not sure, he must have teed it up for an agenda in the select board, and he carried it forward. So I'm grateful to him that he did that. So good stuff. What other agenda items do people have? I mean, those were the two main things I wanted to discuss: the equitable communications, the emails. I will follow up with Bob to see what progress is being made. I think he said he was working with Michelle on that, on the town offices, and then Jamie Gilmore's update. What else do people want to discuss tonight? Jamil, go for it.
But I wanted to, is my mic on? Okay. What I wanted to propose to our SDIC family here is, two things. That's to explore the land acknowledgement piece again, but in concert with that, I think the way to move with that is in concert with that construction that was happening at the pier. So I don't know where that's at, but somehow putting that together with that, I think is the way in, and that may work and be a way to get the town to move with that as connected to that. The other thing was, soon, probably next week, I think I'm going to meet with Jesse and Ann from the library, and we're going to talk about our, because the lit community conversations, and yep. I was thinking about proposing to them, but I wanted to propose here first, is to have one of the sessions be an opportunity to talk about politics in a way that is intentional, facilitated, and allow folks to have discourse in some way, and not leaning one way or the other, but to have discourse in it. Probably if we did that, it would have to be, I don't know, like October or something like that. But before I pitched it to them, I was interested in what folks thought about that. As well, at least one of, because we do them every other month, the lit community conversations, and this probably, like I said, would be in October is my guess, and maybe the first one.
So I know you always have great structure, but I think in this moment you would need like really strong structure to keep it as a civil discourse and not as an explosive argument, right? Yeah. So I think while that usually is done really well, I think you would need even more to ensure, right?
I agree, yeah.
Yeah. But it's not without merit. I think, especially right before our election, right? And we should be able to have civil discourse, and that's what we should be able to promote as leaders in the town.
What would the
work?
Yeah. What would the topic be?
Yeah.
curious, is it like, specific to general politics, or would it be like voting rights? Or like if it was, to Natasha's point about keeping it, constructive and positive,
Hmm.
I think it might be interested if you, picked a more narrow
Okay.
thing to discuss, that maybe we all
Yeah.
agree on the importance of like voting, or the history, something, or bringing, someone in civics, or, I'm just thinking rather than just a general discussion on politics can be difficult to keep people from, perhaps getting passionate on their views versus someone else's. So that's just my thought. I think nice to have ideas and discussions in the community, but I think it's important to kind of hone in one, maybe a smaller.
No, I can appreciate that. I think that not a bad idea. I was thinking general in terms of just folks just wanting to have a space to talk politics, with some parameters, but and maybe even using the circle methodology. But I just want to call you Dr. Dre. But I think that you make a good point. I mean, because if you do something like that, a topic specific to voting, probably would put a reading out for folks to take a look at, and unquestionably and undeniably, still a general conversation may arise. So that might be the way that's
Or local politics, right?
Yeah.
I heard it said, you can get a lot done on the local level when you keep out your initials, like what the party that you represent. So maybe something like that. Like if you throw away, I have, like young people in my family, they tell me that that's a big problem, that there's just two parties, and us boomers, older, we gotta change that. But maybe something like that, or have a young person's perspective on, that would be interesting, having
Right.
students discuss, I think that would be
Mhm.
to see, because
Okay.
it's not where, most adults might be.
Mhm.
My daughter turns 18 in October, and she's very much looking forward to voting.
Yeah, like encouraging young people to vote. I really like the civic engagement topic, and, just really pushing like, young population, that your voice and your vote really matters.
I'm moving her to a swing state though, so that her vote will actually count.
So I have four things that just I was taking notes. I got politics in general, but young person's perspective on politics, voting rights, civic engagement. Am I missing anything else? I just want to have these listed when I speak with Jesse, and am I missing anything else?
There's some pretty civically, politically minded kids at the high schools. You probably know.
Local politics. Sorry. Yep. There are. Absolutely. Okay. Got it. All right. Thank you. Thank you. That's what I had, folks, to add on. Thanks.
So, all right. So let's talk about land acknowledgement, right?
Mm.
So, and so we had, like, it was several months ago now, but and I wish Carrie was on, because I think Carrie, I want to say like her uncle or something, or there's some relative that is one of the gentlemen that's running with that project, the Pier 44 project. And I don't know who was on that committee meeting, but it was really good. Like they're like really in lockstep. They want to do some cool things, and they mentioned indigenous roots of Scituate, and they want to commission someone to do a pretty cool mural that reflects the diversity of the town, the Cape Verdean aspects of the town, and so forth. So it was like really good. I don't have an update from them. They do continue to meet periodically. I haven't gone to any of the recent meetings. So doing something in in lockstep with them, absolutely. But then in terms of just generally speaking, how to go about, like, what would it look like? And honestly, we haven't talked about this in a while, so I kind of forget, honestly, like where we ended up with the land acknowledgement and like what we could do as a committee. What would that look like?
Well, remember, we kind of had one, I think, already. I know I have several in my Google Drive. And we were trying to, well, you were leading the conversation in charge with the select board and trying to make it happen. This is,
That was more, that focus was more flipping Columbus Day to Indigenous Peoples Day.
oh, yeah, you're right. I'm confusing it. But
I remember where that ended, but yeah.
I think for Scituate, a land acknowledgement probably, I don't know if we're overcomplicating it or not, because it's like the very name Scituate is, I mean, you all know the history on it. I mean, it's just such a clear connection that it could just, the statement is done and either the town takes it on, or what I was thinking in lockstep with the team that's doing the Pier 44 thing, they absolutely, like you said, Tom, they want to have that be a part of it. And so maybe they just create it and it's part of their thing. And so as part of the Pier 44, it's there. It's already in it. It's not this thing where you got to go through different hurdles and hoops and stuff. This is part of the actual development, is mirrored by the mural and all the other history that's connected there to that pier piece. Then maybe that gets adopted as, something by the town as well. But I mean, they're already on it. You know what I mean? So that's what I was thinking, that it would just, they either take something we have already or they create their own version of it. But it's there and it starts somewhere in town already, part of a new wave of a community space that's being.
So I don't know how you get one of these or if this is even appropriate, but my daughter is in the high school, and for US history, she's had to find different historical markers and take pictures of them and write a paper on them, like 3, for her summer homework. And maybe we could do, like, at this park, just have like a historical marker that is acknowledging the land was the Native Americans before it was ours, like, and have a little bit of history there, and just have that little piece of history as well as the acknowledgement on one of those very, official looking plaques that they have that are historical markers. I don't know if, like, you have to be like a historical site on the registry or something for that, but even if it's not exactly a historical marker, we could have something similar.
So it's
a plaque.
There's 2 things. One, there's a general acknowledgement that can happen, but for what you're talking about, which is, I think, a step further and even better, we probably would need to identify descendants of the actual tribes that were in Scituate, which I don't think would be hard to identify. I mean, there's a whole bunch of resources in Massachusetts that are probably able to pinpoint the actual tribes and folks that can give us the gravitas to acknowledge kind of thing. Most times that happens. Sometimes folks don't want it, but most times there's appreciation for it.
I think it would be nice to have something like written like that with a little explanation, because I think then it's really clear what it is. And for people who are coming from outside visiting, it's very clear. I think it should also, like you said, Jamil, just kind of be like woven into the artwork and everything as well. But I think a little in your face sometimes with, like, here is the, like, actual story. These are the people who lived here before us, is also helpful. So it helps to explain the art, maybe.
There you found it.
So that could be a suggestion we have to this planning committee. I mean, I don't think we have to do it ourselves, right?
Yeah, I don't know if this is the most recent design, but this is what they presented. It was actually last November. So it was 9 months ago, where they came in. And yeah, there's going to be, because I don't know if this is the most recent design, but they were going to reserve various spaces for artwork. They seem to be the type of group that would absolutely agree to doing a land acknowledgement. What that would look like, I don't know. Could be a plaque, could be whatever, right? Yeah. Carrie has an in with these people. I mean, we do too, but I can shoot a note to Carrie and run this by her, and maybe a few of us could get back in front of them and see what, because I don't know like what their time frame is anymore. Seems like they've been talking about knocking down that building since I moved to Scituate. Angela, you probably grew up going there, but
I had my wedding reception there.
Sorry, there might be a sore subject. I
Oh
apologize.
no. Yes.
Good.
You're
So
gonna
sweet.
see it go.
See you, Bruce. All right. Thanks for bringing that up, Jamil. That's a good one.
Thank you.
All right. All right. What else do we got? The floor is open.
Tom, after I read the minutes from last time, I wasn't at the meeting, but I know that Jamie brought up the Affordable Housing Trust, and that was the email you shared earlier. It just made me think about a conversation we as a committee had over a year ago about, do we go or meet with the various other town committees to try to see, like what collaboration could look like, sort of like what we did with the beach preservation committee or whatever it's called. I thought about it with housing just because the state just passed the housing bond bill and things are heating up. And I think it was Countryway, but I was driving down one of the roads in Scituate one day, and a residential homeowner, had a huge sign on their lawn saying no to 40B, like proposed across the street, which 40B is housing that's affordable. And that could be very divisive in communities, but Scituate has been very compliant with state housing laws like MBTA communities and others. So we're really well run when it comes to that. But I think, meeting with the planning committee, I think if we were to prioritize, the other town committees would be number one, just because a ton of money is about to flow through the state and the town should get it. And I would imagine the select board would be interested in that. And I think too, they're knocking down like the site of where Rivershed is and that pizza place and putting up residential units there too. So just to get ahead of it, just because I know like there's always a few voices that are very loud in these meetings.
So who is that actual committee? Do you know?
Typically the town's planning committee would have oversight over that, but I would have to look at the roster of town committees to see if there would be another one. Is it planning board, zoning? I don't know. It's one of them.
Can you take a look at that and then like either shoot me a note or just let the rest of the committee know? Because I think I mean, let's meet with them.
Yeah, I'm happy to. I'll take a look.
All right, awesome. Yeah, I mean, I haven't heard, I mean, a lot of these other towns, there's been all kinds of noise, right, about them not wanting to be compliant with the MBTA zoning and housing and all that. I forget the time. I think some of them are local to the South Shore and whatnot, but I think Scituate's been pretty good about it. But that doesn't mean that we can't get out ahead of any other build. So, okay. All right, good stuff. Does anybody have anything else? All right. In terms of our next meeting, I'm going to continue going towards the end of the month because I'm traveling both the weeks of September 9th and September 16th. So I'll probably be looking for like September 24th or 25th, but I'll report back and let you guys know. All right. Okay, so with that, I would motion to adjourn the meeting. Do I have a second?
Second,
Okay, thanks, Celia. All right, calling the roll. Reverend Stewart,
Yes.
Ms. Dre,
Yes.
Ms. Galata,
Yes.
Ms. Gilberti,
Yes.
and Ms. Risha.
yes.
And I'm a yes. So it is 7:20 p.m. and we are adjourned. Thanks, everybody.